No matter which way.
Since it is now 6 p.m., I will now call the Boquet Valley Central School District's January Board of Education meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. District's vision, as a reminder to all of us why we are all here. The vision of the Boquet Valley Central School District is to become the best rural school in New York State. We will accomplish our vision by providing exceptional opportunities to all learners and prepare them to set and reach their future goals by embedding our core values into their student experience. Number 4, roll call. Mrs. Belzile, will you please take the roll call?
Tom Broderick. Paige Cotter-Saltema.
Here.
Paul Fenton.
Here.
Darlene Hooper.
Here.
Sarah Coleman.
Here.
Deborah Spalding. Here. Jason Welch.
Here.
Sadie Burgess. Here.
Okay, attendees, if you haven't done so already, would you please sign in so we have an accurate attendance record? The sign-in sheet is located on the table by the entrance. Thank you for your cooperation. Number 6, CBES presentation, management services and CBES facilities expansion plans. We're very happy to have with us this evening Dr. Mark Davey, and I believe Dr. Eric Bell will be joining us shortly, right, to present information regarding Champlain Valley Educational Services and their facilities expansion plans. Welcome, Dr. Davey.
Thank you. Okay.
You're
And
on.
Dr. Bell his timing is perfect. So.
Oh, good. Welcome, Dr. Bell.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Okay. So I'm very pleased to be here this evening. Board President Hooper, Vice President Spalding, members of the board, members of your administrative team, and Dr. Myers, as well as your attendees, staff, parents. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I'm thrilled to be here with Dr. Eric Bell, who is our CVS Deputy Superintendent. And this evening, we're here to share our annual update and also provide you really with additional information about not only the programs and services that you participate in, but also explore and share information about our expansion update. I'm very pleased to, first of all, acknowledge your board member, Christina Garvey. Unfortunately, she had a work commitment this evening that she was not able to attend. I want to thank you for your support of her in her role representing your district and on our BOCES board. She does, as you know, she does a great job. She cares passionately about your district, about your students, and about supporting really your staff, your administrators, your entire community, as well as all the students throughout our region. So it's a privilege to work with her, and she does a phenomenal job. I want to acknowledge her leadership and thank you for your support of her. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Myers. Dr. Myers and I have known each other quite a few years, and I want to acknowledge his leadership on behalf of your district. He is a strong advocate of your students, of your district's services and programs, your staff, and he's considered a leader with our superintendents. He's highly respected. Dr. Myers, you are highly respected by our colleague superintendents. We meet monthly, and oftentimes we meet more often than that. He is the vice chairperson of our Workers' Compensation Consortium and does a great job stepping up. You know that our health insurance consortium is approximately $125 million. There's 10,000 lives and about 4,500 policies. He's an active member of our board of directors, and he takes his responsibilities with the utmost integrity and responsibility, and he does a great job. And Dr. Myers, I want to acknowledge for you publicly and to your board, as well as your school community, that he does a great job on your behalf. And it's a pleasure to work with him, and I'm honored to call him a colleague. So thank you, Dr. Myers, for your work, your leadership, and your continued service to our region. Okay, so I'm very pleased to be here this evening with Dr. Eric Bell, who is our Deputy Superintendent. Dr. Bell has been with us at CVES for the past 8 years, doing a phenomenal job. He came in as Assistant Superintendent and has been appointed with our board and my recommendation as our Deputy Superintendent for his distinguished leadership in the role he plays at our BOCES. He's from the North Country originally. He's a true leader, has been a business official in one of our component districts. His background is phenomenal, and when you hear from him this evening, I think you'll understand why the role that he plays is important, and also the depth of knowledge and experience that he brings to the table. On behalf of our CVS board, 15 board members who represent all of our students and all of our districts, we're so pleased to be here this evening. I'm going to be very brief now. Once I've done my acknowledgments and kudos, I'd like to just start off and share with you that you have in front of you a hard copy of our folder. Now, this is an updated 25-26 folder, and it has on the back a copy of our mission statement and our vision statement, as well as our core beliefs. These have been updated throughout our strategic planning process. They were recently updated within the last couple of years. And Dr. Myers has served as a superintendent's representative on our strategic planning team. He represents the region, all the component districts, and has been an active and visible member of that leadership team that represents all of our staff and all of our students across our BOCES. You'll also see a summary of our administrative team members and our board members as well. And so you'll recognize many of our board members who have been on our BOCES board for many years, including our board president who's from Crown Point and has served on our BOCES board, Mr. St. Pierre, for 30 years. He's also the board president in Crown Point and has served in Crown Point and on their board as board president for over 30 years. So we have a distinguished group of individuals who really are committed to our students and the BOCES. With that said, you also have inside your folder, you have really fact sheets. These are our updated fact sheets that if you go to our website, they're live. So you can actually click on the various links. There's videos, there's information, and there's various things. You'll have management services. You have a CVS fact sheet as a whole as well. You have the CV Tech fact sheet. You have school support services, and you also have our RISE Center for Success. So these are fact sheets that you can look at when you may not have the opportunity to have a live website or have electronic resources, but it does provide a good overview of all the information that's available on our website. But this evening, we're here specifically to talk about our programs and services and an expansion update. And I'm delighted to have Dr. Bell present this information. As I mentioned, he is a true leader in our region, has a financial understanding as one of the best business officials I've ever worked with. He's considered a leader in the state. He's considered a leader in our region. Our superintendents have the utmost respect for him, and he's a child advocate. He is a parent. He's a dedicated leader who is as committed as any individual I've ever worked with. So it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Eric Bell.
Thank you, Dr. David.
Okay.
First off, I must apologize to this board for running late. We had an executive committee to our health insurance consortium, and class that went long, so I was coming straight from that meeting with you today. 3 things on our agenda tonight. One is to look at Boquet Valley's use of CVS BOCES services and what the aid impact of BOCES aid is on those services. The second is Management Services Division. We'll highlight that piece. And then lastly, will be our facilities expansion plan. So I'll jump right in. We are going to use the screen, so it is going to be behind you. So I do want to direct your attention to it now. The first thing I always want to talk to you about with boards is the BOCES administrative budget. It is the one budget every one of our component district boards, like yourself, vote on annually. So this vote will come to you in April as part of our administrative budget. So let's recap last year for you and start with what's in an administrative budget, because the first thing people ask me about is how many principals do you have in your administrative budget? 0. There are none, right? That's not where our principals go. That's not where our directors go either, right? So the key pieces to this are the district superintendents by law has to go in there. Our board expenses has to go in there. What it costs to run a business office, HR, accounts payable, payroll for a $57 million entity must go into this budget by law. The biggest portion of the budget, 80% of it, is retiree health insurance expenses. So overall budget last year was $7.7 million. Of that, $6.3 million was retiree health insurance costs. So majority of that is not the actual cost to run the BOCES, it's those legacy costs we all have. At the end of the day, across all of our component districts, our districts paid a net $4.2 million on that $7.7 million because of two things. One, BOCES aid, which equated to about $3.2 million. And the second is surplus. Surplus might be a new term to you. As a BOCES, if we make a profit in any one of our coasters, we have 227 different budgets or coasters that we run, cooperative services. If we have a profit in any of them, we must give it back to the districts. So our administrative budget, we were able to come in under budget quite significantly to the tune of $325,000. All of that money is given back to our districts. So that's the same across every one of our coasters, this just being one of them. Boquet Valley's share of that is based on our WADA, resident weighted average daily attendance, as compared to our other 15 component districts along with Boquet. So their share was $211,000. After surplus reimbursed to Boquet and aid, the net cost was 58% of what was billed, or $123,000. Moving on to our next budget is CV Tech, and this is our CTE programming, and Boquet participates in this. Boquet sent last year 25 students to our CV Tech programming. We do run our high school programming on enrollment averaging. This is new in the last 5 years. So we actually average districts' last 5 years of attendance in CV Tech. So Boquet was actually only billed for 19 students because that's their 5-year average, even though you sent 25 students to CV Tech. So when you take the enrollment averaging, times that by the rate that we charge for tuition, net out BOCES aid, the net cost per student you sent was under $7,000. So across, you were billed $247,000, net cost only $174,000 to educate all those students at CV Tech. CTE, we also have a pre-CTE programming that's tied with our special education programming, and that net cost per student, you sent 4 students, that is not by enrollment averaging, and that net cost was $12,500. Moving to our next division, managed services, you're gonna hear a little bit more about this. This is one we wanna share more information on. This is the non-instructional supports to Boquet Valley and all of our component districts, and really districts across the state we support in various coasters. So important to point out here, one of the ones that Boquet Valley participates in is our central business office, right? And you get the experts that are in front of you today because you participate in the central business office. One route districts can go is let's hire our own business office. I would assume the cost would be right around what we charge, which is $350,000. That includes your different costs you have, such as your financial software and other pieces that go along with the expenses. That's not just people, it's what it takes to run your business office. You would forego any BOCES aid or on that flows back to you. So in this case, last year you paid $350,000, had BOCES aid of about $90,000 paid back to Boquet. So the net cost was only $219,000 to run that business office. You can see the other ones that you participate in and the BOCES aid impact on that across the board. This coaster is critical, or these coasters are critical, just like school support services, in that our districts, Boquet and the rest, pool their resources to get high quality professionals. You see 2 of them here in front of you, that when we pool our resources, we can recruit them and have them to support multiple districts at the same time. So we spread that talent around the North Country and serve all of our districts with that talent because we pool our resources. So let's look at school support services. This is the instructional side of the house and supports that we provide to Boquet Valley. And the important part here is the leadership team at Boquet, Dr. Meyer and team, understand the value and power of BOCES aid. The simple thing to do is say, we're just gonna do it in-house, right? And I point to instructional printing, for instance. If Boquet wanted to, they could print everything they have in-house. It'd wear down your equipment, it'd probably have long lines, some staff might not be too pleased about it. It would cost you $23,000 to do that. Instead, they take the time to work through the BOCES, our instructional printing coaster, use our print shop, large warehouse in Plattsburgh, and get BOCES aid back on that. So the net cost is only $16,000 instead of $23,000, inherently saving $8,000 for the district. The easy thing to do, again, would be to forego that conversation with the BOCES, but Boquet does not do that. Our conversations are constantly, is CVS meeting Boquet's needs? Are there coasters that we provide that we need to expand on? Do we need to add new coasters? And those conversations happen regularly with your team to ensure we are meeting the needs of Boquet. So you can see across the board, instructional technology is another one where it's not just staff, it's also hardware, right? So this district takes the time to run their hardware through the BOCES, so then you can receive BOCES aid back on those costs. All right, let's look at a whole picture. So BOCES aidable service, I just covered the 3 divisions. Total investment was $1.4 million. BOCES aid and surplus going back to was over $500,000 or $500,000. So that time you took to invest in the BOCES services met a reward or a refund back to the district from BOCES aid and surplus of $500,000 to support your budget in other areas, right? You can use that to cover other costs that you have as a district. Across 27 coasters, you paid a net of 63% of your total cost for $900,000. Good news. The legislature last year passed that BOCES aidable salary will increase. So currently, in the aid numbers I just showed you, anyone that makes over $30,000 will have an aid deduct. So that means there is no BOCES aid that flows on their salary over $30,000. If you're not aware, minimum wage is actually above $30,000. So we don't have an employee in those coasters I just shared with you that makes less than $30,000. So what that means is more BOCES aid will flow to Boquet Valley next year because of this law change. Across their full BOCES, it's an extra $1 million to all of our component districts for doing nothing. So awesome news there. The year after that, it's going to go up again, another $1 million to our districts, and the year after that, another $1 million to our districts in additional revenue because of this law change. Very important stuff there. We do have non-aidable services. You met Dr. Slattery last year. He presented to you, talked quite a bit about our RISE Center for Success. That is not aided through BOCES aid. But our team, our financial team, do stack these students, and you receive aid in other ways. Excess cost aid, high cost aid, Medicaid, various ways that you can receive the aid. So you can see there, we share those details in full transparency to you that you do receive additional services from CVS, just not BOCES aidable. Transportation is very similar, as well as your incarcerated youth program that we service the county jail on. Whew, said a lot there. So we're moving quickly through this. It's going to keep at that pace. We do a video because we're meeting with 16 school boards, and we want to send a consistent message around our management services division and the facilities expansion. So we're going to cover about 40 slides loaded with information in 12 minutes in this video. It might be a little impersonal, but we want to have that consistent message with all this information on it. We're happy to answer any questions, dive as deep as you'd like as soon as we're done with the video. All right, we're testing this. Dr. Meyer, let's see what happens.
Hello, I'm Eric Bell, CVS Deputy Superintendent. It's my honor to share some highlights about our Management Services Division. The division serves as a foundational pillar of the CVS operation by providing essential services such as financial leadership, budgeting, accounting, payroll, purchasing, accounts payable, human resources, employee benefits, operations and maintenance, cafeteria management, labor relations, and capital projects oversight. Additionally, it delivers shared administrative and operational services to school districts, enabling them to reduce costs and enhance efficiency through 8 cooperative services referred to as COSERs. First, I would like to highlight our business office, which provides daily oversight and financial management for 227 budgets totaling $175 million. In 2024, we issued over 600 W-2s, and last school year, our management services team onboarded 199 new hires, processed nearly 11,000 payroll transactions, 2,470 purchase orders, 150 vendor contracts, and 17,000 invoices. We take pride in maintaining strong internal controls, ensuring accuracy, transparency, and accountability in every dollar managed. Our commitment is to provide fiscally sound and trusted services that support the success of our staff and students.
Hello, my name is Joe Coakley, Director of Labor Relations. Our team is proud to support our component districts through several key services. Through our Labor Relations Service, we assist districts with negotiations, contract administration, labor challenges, and professional development on personnel and student relations issues. Our Regional Certification Office serves our 16 school districts as a bridge between educators, districts, and state education department, helping professionals navigate certifications with clarity and support. And through our personnel recruitment service, we help districts attract qualified candidates through shared postings, advertising, and job fairs. As part of our regionalization efforts, we are targeting expansions of this COSER for stronger regional recruitment for all of our component districts.
Hello, I'm Vicki Giroux, Benefits Director at CBES. Our office coordinates the CEWW Health Insurance and Workers' Compensation Consortium, serving our BOCES and our component school districts. We manage everything from plan design, billing, and claims management to cost control and compliance, ensuring high-quality, cost-effective coverage for employees and retirees. We have been integral in bringing financial stability to our health insurance consortium. We also provide employee benefit plan administration, including FSA, HRA, and HSA programs, offering user-friendly, school-focused tools and responsive service. Lastly, our team oversees Affordable Care Act management and reporting, ensuring full compliance and dedicated support for every participating district.
Hi, I'm Hayden Reedy, Business Manager at CBES. Our Central Business Office, or CBO, provides a full suite of school financial services designed to support and strengthen our component districts. By sharing costs and expertise, we deliver efficient, high-quality services, including centralized payroll, purchasing, treasurer functions, claims auditing, human resources, and benefits administration. In the 25-26 school year, we are currently serving 6 of our component school districts. Our collaborative model allows each district to tailor services to meet their unique operational needs, including handling all business office operations of a district, while ensuring accuracy, consistency, and fiscal responsibility across the region. Additionally, Management Services provides GASB 75 planning and valuation services for 53 districts, ensuring accurate reporting of post-employment benefits through expert actuarial analysis and compliance support.
At CBS, we're proud to support districts through innovative and essential services. One last COSER to mention is our Nourish Cafeteria Management Program, which serves over 5,500 students daily, focusing on scratch cooking, local ingredients, and healthier meals that fuel student learning and wellness. In 24-25, all 8 schools in our program met the New York State 30% initiative for serving New York-grown food, and we were 8 of only 73 schools statewide approved for this additional reimbursement. Our program thrives on meeting students' nutritional needs in just 2 meals a day, and we believe all schools can and should serve students with these high nutritional standards by eliminating food dyes and reducing the amount of processed foods and sugar served to students. In closing, the collaborative approach of our Management Services Division strengthens district operations, allowing significant cost savings while maintaining superior service delivery. Our team of over 50 dedicated professionals works every day to support both CVS and our component districts. Our COSERs are an example of what can be achieved when districts pool their resources. For long-term fiscal sustainability, we must continue to grow our Management Services COSERs strategically, maintaining the highest quality. With BOCES aid, cost efficiencies, and a talented team, districts receive a high return on their investment. Together, we can build stronger, more sustainable schools across our region. Now we will transition to our facilities expansion update. Over the past decade, CVS has experienced steady growth in programs and enrollment, which has driven the need for expanded facilities. Today, I'll provide an update on our current projects and the strategic decisions behind them. First, let's start with a look at our program growth over the years. Our RISE Center for Success has grown by nearly 60% enrollment over the last 10 years, and CV Tech has seen a 35% increase. In CV Tech, our classroom capacity has been reached in many programs, with no room for expansion. We currently have 43% of juniors and seniors of our component school districts attending CV Tech. Specialized programming has expanded significantly, with classroom spaces increasing from 26 in 2019-2020 to 33 this year. We have reached our existing facilities capacity with no room for expansion. Currently, CVS operates 3 owned campuses and several leased locations throughout our region. To address capacity challenges, we evaluated 2 options. building new on our own versus building new through leasing. Constructing a new facility would take at least 8 years and significantly impact district tax caps. In contrast, a lease arrangement allows us to move into a new CTE center by July 2026 and new Mineville campus by July 2028. With full BOCES aid on lease costs and minimal local tax impact, this approach is efficient with significantly lower construction costs and higher state aid while avoiding long-term debt for districts. The lease partnership is with CIDC. They purchase the land, hold the construction contracts, and have the lease with CVES. The developer is Columbia Development Companies, and the builder is BBL. Now let's take a look at the new CTE Center in Plattsburgh. The new building will be a 155,000 square foot facility and a 12,000 square foot accessory building with high bay lab spaces, modern classrooms, and collaborative spaces. Construction began in March 2025, and as you can see from these drone photos, progress is on schedule for completion in June 2026. These images show the interior and exterior work completed as of November 10, 2025. The building is taking shape and significant progress has happened since these photos were taken. In addition to the new CTE Center, we are planning for expanded programming at the CVS Plattsburgh campus to meet growing demand for specialized services. This expansion will be contingent upon staffing and done over multiple years. As you can see, we have targeted 6 CV Tech classrooms primed for conversion to improve our specialized programs. The 20-year lease for our new CTE Center in Plattsburgh ensures predictable costs and full aidability. The total year one lease cost is projected at $3.63 million with a net cost to districts of $1.27 million, which is part of the BOCES capital exclusion on your district's tax cap. The overall tax impact across all of our component school districts for next school year is estimated at 0.7%. At the end of the lease, CVS has an agreement allowing them to buy the building contingent upon a public vote for whatever is remaining on the bonds of the building, currently estimated to be less than $500,000. Here is a look at the project timeline. With construction starting in March 2025, we are on track for the construction to be completed by the end of June 2026, with programming starting in September. Beyond education, this project will serve as a catalyst for workforce development and economic growth in the North Country, strengthening partnerships with local businesses and industries, while providing premier opportunities for students. We have begun a similar process in Essex County. Our CVS Mineville campus, built in 1969, is at capacity with no room for expansion. The campus is home to our Rise Center for Success and CV Tech programming. Through multiple capital projects over the last 12 years, we have invested $6 million into the facility to address critical infrastructure needs. To continue to maintain the campus, it requires significant future capital work, estimated at over $7.4 million in priority needs. To maintain our current programming, these improvements would not expand upon our offerings, but would rather maintain what we have now. When comparing our options for expansion in Mineville, we looked at, in addition, adding 2 Rise classrooms and a CV Tech culinary arts kitchen. The net cost to districts after aid was projected at $4.4 million. This is above and beyond the $7.4 million in aforementioned capital work needed. Whereas a new building through a lease has a net present value of just $13.4 million. With the value provided through the lease arrangement, the return on investment is represented in this list from our preliminary building design, with expanded programming opportunities and significant improvements for the students. This includes adding 50,000 square feet, 10 new educational spaces, and numerous other improvements. Here is a breakdown of the preliminary projected costs across component districts, similar to what was shared for the new CTE Center in Plattsburgh. BOCES aid will cover 2/3 of the project. The impact of this lease is projected at 0.59% of district's tax caps and will not take effect until 2028-2029. Property acquisition for Essex County is under contract for 40.5 acres of land within 1 mile of the existing campus. The CVS board approved an option to lease agreement with CIDC on November 12th. A look at the timeline for the new Essex County building has groundbreaking targeted for fall 2026 and construction completing in June 2028. As part of our facilities expansion plan, CVS has sold land in Clinton County for $420,000 and anticipates selling the CVS Mineville campus in the fall of 2028, with all proceeds going to our component school districts. In closing, these projects position CVS and our component districts well to meet the educational and workforce needs of our region for decades to come. Thank you for your continued support, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have at this time.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Bell, would you mind, only because I know we have some people here that are interested in our capital project, can you just briefly explain why the BOCES is able to use that model and we are not?
Yeah, it's the most common question we receive, Dr. Meyer. So why can a BOCES have this model through a lease arrangement, build a new building, and have that aidability? It's because all of our construction work is aided through BOCES aid. Now, if we do a capital project ourselves, there are something called maximum cost allowances. I know this district is very familiar with maximum cost allowances and how anything above a maximum cost allowance gets 0% aid on it. In a lease arrangement for a BOCES, 100% of your lease costs are aidable. There's no maximum cost allowances. It's just whatever that lease cost is times the BOCES aid rate is fully aidable. And that's the biggest difference in this. So districts that want to engage in a route of their own lease arrangement, they could do it legally. You'd save all the construction costs, right? Because I shared it's about over $1,000 per square foot. If we build it through a normal capital project format, through a lease arrangement, it's $375 a square foot, roughly $20 million in savings on one of our buildings. Districts could do that, but they would forego 100% of their aid, right? So in your situation, you would get zero aid on that project. So it doesn't work, right? And that's why districts don't do it, because the net cost to them is significantly more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions? No? Well, I would like to thank you both, Dr. Davey and Dr. Bell, for the very enlightening presentation. We always look forward to hearing about the wonderful array of services that you provide, and we're just so very fortunate to have access to all of the services that you have available. We've really benefited over the years as Boquet Valley and as previously as ELCS and the Westport School District as well. And we hope to continue having your services in the future years.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much. And we're equally excited about your expansion plans. This sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and thank you for the opportunity. I know in my own role, it's been a privilege to work with your former boards, with the two districts, and now with Boquet Board, and have had the opportunity to work with your community members and yourself to support your students and the long-term success of your community and workforce development and our commitment to the region. You've been a tremendous partner. You've had great leaders who've actively engaged with CVS, have worked closely with us and continue to do so. And we urge you to really continue this strong partnership, because we're honored to work with you. We're honored to continue this strong partnership and to encourage you to come to our Board of Education trainings, to come to our open houses and really support your students. And I know that we plan open houses and various opportunities, and for your community members, your parents, and even yourselves as Boards of Education members to come and actually see things in operation, it really makes it come alive. It's just-in-time learning, it's hands-on learning, and it's applicable, and your students leave with just tremendous educations that they can use the rest of their lives. And so we're so proud to be your partners and look forward to our continued working with you. And we're honored to have our business office team work with you as well, with Mr. Reedy and as well as Lucia, to provide your support. We're honored
Happy to have them.
and look forward to our continued work together.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, capital project update. Dr. Meyer, do you have any news from State Ed?
So once again, we don't have a major update for you. However, we are being told that there should be a significant update next month. I think it was the timing between the submission, the holiday season, and having an earlier board meeting this month. So we are expecting a significant update next month.
Okay. All right. Thank
Dr.
you.
Mark, is there anything we can do as a board to try and put some pressure on a timely response from state ed?
So I think the problem this fall was when they kicked it back. They kicked it back a couple of times, needing some more information. We were not expecting the enrollment study. That piece took us a few weeks to do that. And then since getting that, it was resubmitted right around I forget if it was either right before or right after the December board meeting. So I don't know that there's anything that we can do right now. I think if you ask me that question in February and we still don't have something, then I'll probably say yes to that. But seems to all have been, I'm going to say, normal requests from them so far.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? All right, legal services discussion. In regard to last month's legal service discussion, I would just like to make a few necessary comments. This will be brief. There were several of us board members who were very upset regarding the information that was presented on screen by Dr. Meyer during our public session. In order to avoid another contentious public discussion, I will not get into any details. I would, however, like it to be part of public record. Mrs. Belzile, please take note that the slides presented at last month's meeting by Dr. Meyer have been removed from the district's website. Let that action alone speak for itself. I believe that is all that needs to be said at this time. Okay, number 2, tax exempt proposals.
Is
Okay.
that going to be a discussion or just a comment?
Just a comment. Okay, we're going to discuss it further in executive session. Number 2, tax exempt proposals. Dr. Meyer, would you please explain these proposals for us?
So I'm going to call on Hayden to discuss this a bit. He's done some of the legwork on this. Hayden, you mind starting us off?
Yeah, so last month you had brought up the tax exemption, so I did contact the county. I sat down and reviewed things. So school districts can adopt over 700 different property tax exemptions. There is no way for us to, there's a lot more information for me to give you information that you would want to make an informed decision. For example, a veteran's exemption, that was the one that was brought up. There's 18 different ones. It depends on what ward did they fight in. Were they are they disabled? Were they previously disabled? What's the percent of their disability? So it all falls into different property exemptions. There's no just veterans exemption. It's kind of we see other districts that have veterans exemptions, but it falls under a very specific type of exemption. So when I spoke to them and I kind of asked them, what do I need to do to adopt an exemption? Depending on the exemption that it is, you might have to hold a public hearing. 95% of the exemptions do require a public hearing, just like our budget hearing. We would have to do that to adopt a tax exemption. The other piece is a little bit of misinformation in the state that if you would adopt a property tax exemption, that the state kicks in that portion that we're missing. It's passed on to the other taxpayers. So if we were to adopt a blanket veteran exemption, that would fall on any of the non-veterans in the area. And in order for me to calculate that and figure out what that impact would be is almost impossible because that exemption doesn't exist in this area. So people haven't applied for it. We don't have the data to know who would be eligible for that. We can get a rough idea, and I really say rough idea, but it would have to go out there. People would have to apply for it, and then we would know. So that's kind of the point that I'm at, is really we need to have a discussion about which ones we're interested in. I do have the list of all the different exemptions that are possible. We currently do have one exemption in this district. That's our senior citizen exemption. and that's for senior citizens earning below $25,000 a year. And they do have an exemption on their taxes right now. We do have the ability to increase that exemption, meaning in this area, I've seen 25 to 29,000 is that income threshold. So we're at that 25 right now. So there's lots and lots and lots of exemptions. So it's difficult to just pinpoint that. The other piece to mention is if we do move down this road, we would, not to bring up past business, but we would have to explore another legal firm that specializes in property taxes, because that is really it's very fine details, and we would hate to be in a situation where we approve and the county calculates our tax bills and we find out that we're out of compliance, and would have to then go back and figure out what the tax bills should have been. So we would have to look at a different layer, because I have not looked, but I highly doubt that our two law firms that specialize in education also specialize in property law.
And we had discussed before that we felt that, excuse me?
Firemen, too, volunteer firemen and.
Yes, but we had discussed that we would like it to go up to a vote rather than just the Board of Education decide on it.
Yep. So what we would have to do is really what I would need from this board meeting is a kind of a list of what exemptions do you want me to explore? And then I can take it to the county, and I really do have to sit with them. They're the ones, they're our tax collector, but the county calculates the school tax bills for all schools in the county. So they have all of the data, and I would have to really sit with them and hammer out the details and figure things out. Then it would go in the February board meeting is when the board could vote to bring it to a vote or bring it to a public hearing session. They also did say any new exemptions could be adopted for this coming fiscal year. So this coming tax season, if it's a new exemption. But they would need to know well before our tax collection season started. So tax collection season for them and our purposes starts July 15th.
Be interested.
So what do you suggest that our next step be? Fellow board members.
I was going to ask my fellow board members if Hayden were to send us an email with a list of these potential exemptions to give us an opportunity to review that for any interest, probably save some time and be better prepared to discuss
Well, you did
it.
send us, there was something in our.
I had put just a memo out just saying, just very general. I didn't break it down.
It didn't have the list of the 16. that you
Correct.
just-
So like I'm looking at it right now. I mean, for veterans, there's Cold War, Korean War, Vietnam War, disabled, seriously injured, wartime veterans of alternate conflicts. Like there's just so many.
And can I just clarify? So say that there were, and again, totally hypothetical, if there were like 4 of these they wanted to do, we would need 4 separate referendums.
Correct. It would be 4 separate referendums.
Can we do one blanket over all of the veterans exemptions?
They have to be adopted individually, because so it gives the actual law. So there's real property tax law, 458B, 458B1, 458B2, 458B3. They all fall under different ones. And that's something that the state comptroller would be looking for, is a specific resolution adopting or all of them.
Do any of the schools that you work with presently have these exemptions?
One of the school districts has a veterans exemption. It is a very, very specific veterans exemption that is currently claimed by 0 people in the school district.
Oh.
So we approve it year over year, and no one currently claims it because it is a World War II disabled veteran exemption. And I don't believe there are many of them in that one.
Josh, who was the lawyer that did we get that exception on Boquet, or was it something that grandfathered in? Or the, which one we have right now? Senior citizens.
Oh,
Senior citizens, I would say, is adopted by 99% of the districts in the state. That's a standard
So
one.
it's less, we wouldn't need a property law lawyer.
Special, okay.
Yeah, everyone has that one. There's so many examples of different referendums and resolutions to adopt that. That's pretty common. That's the one that we get I want to say December 15th is when we have to submit what the income threshold is. This year it was due December 15th and I opened up the mail on December 17th and it was there. So the county got them out on time.
I think I'd recommend what Jason said. Get the sheet out and let every board member make a decision on what they look at. See what the.
Yeah.
Do you use your microphone? It's hard to hear you, Paul.
What Jason has said is, and I agree with that, is just get us a copy of it. And, what is out there and whatever the party decides they want to use. It's the biggest one that we take.
Yeah, if you could send us.
Beyond veterans, do you want him to include emergency services? Is
Emergency
that,
services.
do you know if that's singular or separated?
I want to say, so volunteer firefighters fall under a different exemption.
I'd want to know,
That might not
I'd
need
want
to be
that one at least included in our conversation,
Okay.
as that's what we have in the area.
So do we, again, just because I'm looking at the list here, there's volunteer EMS, there's volunteer firefighting, there's volunteer law enforcement, so
So we definitely have volunteer
emergency services.
firefighters in the area. Do we have the others?
They already get a federal tax cut.
True.
Firefighters do.
So I'll just include emergency services.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, anyone else have any questions for Hayden? All right, let's move on to new business, committee updates, joint study. Paige, do you have any information on joint study?
We just kept the conversation going about Portrait of a Graduate today and kind of how to make it a little less overwhelming and more of a framework that we can ask the teachers for more input on, because ultimately that's going to be a lot of the ins and outs of what Portrait of a Graduate is going to become, because we really don't know what it's going to become until we put it into place. And how to help the staff and faculty with professional development to be able to do this more efficiently and into next year as well.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Paige? All right, moving on to Youth Commission update, and Paige, I think you're on again.
That's also me. Odd timing of the board meetings. I normally have my youth commission meeting the same week as this, so I'll have that next week. So I don't have anything other than the holidays were great and basketball has started. We have our first home game on Saturday here.
Great. Yeah. Okay, Policy Committee. I don't believe that you have met again since last month, but could someone provide us with the date of the next scheduled meeting?
The 29th.
The 29th, January 29th. Okay, moving on to public comment. Our agenda offers 2 public comment sections. Opinions, ideas, and concerns that are offered by the public will be considered and taken under advisement. We have set aside a 15-minute period, giving the audience time to share their thoughts with us. Please raise your hand to be acknowledged by the board president. When called upon, please identify yourself, give your address, limiting your comments to 3 minutes. We also have the microphone set up. If you would please speak into the microphone so we all can hear you, that would be appreciated. Anyone else, anyone like to speak, have a comment? No? No comments? Okay, we'll move right along to executive session then. Specifically, the board anticipates entering into executive session for the following reasons. A, to discuss the medical, financial, credit, and employment history of a particular person or persons. B, number 8, to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property or proposed acquisition, sale, or exchange of securities, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value of these things. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss items 10A and B?
No motion.
Okay, thank you, Paige. Second? Thank you, Paul. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. We anticipate being back in approximately 45 minutes, hour. Okay, as soon as possible. Okay, may I have a motion to enter back into regular session?
I'll motion.
Paige, and second, thank you, Paige.
You're welcome.
Paul,
Yeah,
second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, number 11, ex officio student school board member report. It's our pleasure once again to have our student representative, Sadie Burgess, provide us with a report on behalf of the student body. Okay, take it away, Sadie.
On the last day before break, Mountain View students participated in an all-day community building celebration. We had several options for activities and group games, and this is a much looked forward to and enjoyed day every year. And over the past month or so, we've had a therapy dog, Bo, who comes and provides short animal therapy sessions. Everyone really loves Bo, and we're all excited when we get to see him. Coming up, we have the annual rummage sale, which will benefit the junior and senior classes. We're planning for March 26th through 28th. We've already begun preparation and flyers will go up shortly. And then it's not up there, but flag football is growing in popularity in our area. And there are currently around 16 BVCS students who expressed interest. This would be a great addition to our sports options. I know Dr. Meyer has more information.
Yes, thank you. So I was approached by a group of students interested in starting a flag football program. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, they have a basketball game tonight and can't be here. So they just gave me some information and asked that I share that with the board and ask for your approval to move forward with preparations. And then if we do need any official action, we can put that on the February agenda. But in 2021, this flag football became a spring sport recognized through New York State Public High School Athletic Association. Then in 2024, they got to the level of sectional and state championships. So it is just as much a sport as any other sport as far as NISFA goes. In Section 7, there are 11 teams currently operating in Section 7, so there would be plenty of competition. As far as I know, it is only a varsity sport. I don't believe any of those schools have a JV program at this time. And because of that, it is primarily high school students that are participating. I'm sure on one of those 11 teams, there might be an eighth grader here or there, but for the most part, it's a high school team. And there appear to be 16 students who are interested in participating this year. That is more than enough for a solid program. And speaking with other schools, they said if you have 14 students, that's really an ideal number. So having 16 that are interested seems like we definitely have enough to explore this further. The field size, we would need some field space, but again, it looks like we might have some options somewhere on our grounds. It's a little bit of a smaller field.
Can I ask a question about that? Would the Mountain View campus field space be adequate? Or you'd have to look.
We would need to lay it out.
I know that's a weird.
Yeah, so I do think that between the Mountain View field or the fields here, we should be okay. Again, it's much smaller. So actually, they did provide me with the field dimensions, 40 yards by 80 yards. So that is significantly smaller than the soccer field. Soccer full-size field is 120 by 80. So 40 by 80 is, obviously much smaller than that. So we would need to take a look at that. And the only real while there would be some costs like, it's flag football, so each player needs like a belt and flags, and we would obviously need to purchase a couple footballs or things like that. That is a very minimal expense. The only real expense here from the district perspective would be a coach, which, we have our federation president, we can negotiate right now if you want. But I assume that it would be similar to our other spring coaches, somewhere in that ballpark. Other than that, everything else is a pretty minimal expense. So at this time, so certainly you could have some board discussion. I don't think we need any action, so to speak, but just more general consensus or approval to move forward with this and have something for you in February that could be actionable.
Has anyone here watched the girls' flag football? It's really fun to watch.
I've seen videos.
It is, like, I've watched Peru's games a lot. It's a lot of
Do your
fun.
granddaughters play?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, also, just because we discussed this before, the girls would be allowed to play flag football and softball potentially, and golf.
Yes, so-
The other spring sports are that they would be interested in.
Yep, that's typically a school by school decision, and I don't
But we could
have,
make
yeah,
that.
I don't have an issue with that. Certainly we'd have conversations with our athletic coordinator and make sure that was working for everybody.
Now, what about the male students? Have they requested that as well?
As far as I know, it is a girls only sport.
Oh, okay.
You have nearly exhausted my knowledge of flag football. I appreciate it if we could move on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions for Sadie?
It sounds like there's support from this group to continue
Yes.
working towards getting it set up.
Great, thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Sadie, for your time and efforts once again to provide us a monthly report. This is always the highlight of the meeting for me because that's why we're here, is for the students. So thank you very much for your input.
You said that the rummage sale was the March 26th through 28th potentially?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 12, approval of the agenda and minutes. A, approve the adoption of the agenda. B, approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion to approve items 12A and B?
Aye.
Paul, thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Paige, thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to request that 17A1 be removed.
17A1. Okay, let me just make sure that that's the right one. Yes, okay. All right, anyone else have any discussion?
We
We,
plan to
We
discuss
could
that.
discuss
at
it
the
further,
committee
sorry.
meeting.
Right.
that's what I was
Right.
gonna say.
Thank you.
Remove it
So you'd
to
like
I
vote on
guess-
it separately.
No,
No, we're gonna discuss it further.
In the
as a
policy
group, yeah.
Sending
committee,
it
not
back
the
to-
policy committee.
We're going to amend it by removing it out from tonight's agenda, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, may I have a motion for 12A and B as amended by the removal of 12A,
17.
or excuse me, 17A1? Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Number 13, financials. Do I have a motion to approve items 13A, 1 through 6?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Paige. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Deb. Any discussion on these items? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion 13A, 1 through 6 has been approved. Number 14, CSE, CPSE, and 504 recommendations. A, accept and approve the Committee on Preschool Special Education, Committee on Special Education, and Committee on 504 Plan recommendations as presented. Do I have a motion to accept the CSE, CPSE, and 504 recommendations presented in 14A?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Paige. Any discussion on these? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion 14A approved. Number 15, action items consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve action items 15A, 1 through 3, and 15B1? Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Okay, thank you, Paige. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this?
The mower will go out probably to the Auction International again. We did really good on the truck, right? What would I be asking?
That would be a Bob question.
Okay. Thank you for the little information on that too.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion to approve 15A, 1 through 3, and 15B1 are approved. Okay, number 16, personnel consent agenda. A through E. Do I have a motion to approve items in 16A through E?
A motion?
Thank you, Deb. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Is there any discussion on any of these items? Just for clarification, Dr. Meyer, you did say that the appointment of the instructional specialist would not be on an everyday basis, but only when needed, correct?
Yes, so this is not the Monday through Friday for the rest of the year. It's not that. It is probably, the couple of a few days a week for moving forward.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the clarification. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Items in 16A through E are accepted. Number 17, policy. As recommended by the Boquet Valley Policy Committee, approve the revision of the following policies, and we have removed A1. So we're looking at policy 1510, quorum and parliamentary procedure. Do I have a motion to approve 17.1? No, 17.2, correct?
Yeah.
I'll
17.2.
motion.
Okay, thank you, Paige. Second?
I will.
Thank you, Deb. Is there any discussion? Any other discussion?
Just so that the public knows, the policy change is simply about public comment. It used to say that you could only public comment on agenda items only. Now we're just gonna take agenda items only off of the policy, otherwise it'll stay the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Paige. Yes. Any other questions? All right, items in 17A. Okay, wait a minute, we haven't voted on it yet.
No.
Okay, but we do have our,
We're just in discussion.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, motion 17A1 is accepted.
Because it's
Two?
A2. because we're
A2,
taking-
A2. Confusing here with all these changes. All right, now we go on to number 18, Administrative Director Report. It does state that we have a report from the principal, Lakeview Principal Lee Kyler, but that has been changed to the Director of Student Services, Mr. Sean Streck. So, Mr. Streck, the floor is all yours.
Would you like the clicker or would you like me to?
Oh, dude, I'll quit. Yeah. Don't tempt me with a good time. Thanks. Hello, everybody again. Feels like we were just here. Okay, so I do have a slideshow. I hate to make you turn around, but it's beautiful and we're really hard on it. So I'm here today to give you sort of an overview of special ed at Boquet Valley for the 25-26 school year. Many a thing have happened. And we have some exciting things moving forward, so I'm happy to share with you what's going on. So a glance, special ed by building. At Lakeview, we have 5 special education teachers over 7 grade levels. That includes pre-K. We have 4 full-time aides/assistants, 49 students receiving IEP or 504 accommodations, 1 integrated pre-K classroom. And I would just like to say for a moment that from the beginning of this class year in September to now, they have made exceptional and wonderful growth, and they're doing a great job. And this is a wonderful and valuable asset to our community. So I would like to publicly commend them for their great work. Yeah, they've really been working hard down there. So
Good.
Yeah. At Mountain View, we have 4 special education teachers over 7 grade levels, 6 full-time aides/assistants, and 78 students receiving IEP or 504 accommodations. Here's some data, some cold hard facts that we're going to take a look at here together. It's going to be fun. Our special ed population is 56% male, 44% female, 96% white, 58% economically disadvantaged. There are 39% of our population is in grades K through 5. 61% of our special ed population is in grades 6 through 12. And this is a really interesting fact, and I would just like to sort of juxtapose what the national sort of like standard is here, and then talk about what we are. So the most recent national data says that 9% of students with disabilities receive 1 or more out-of-school suspensions. Additionally, it indicates that students with disabilities accounted for 29% of all out-of-school suspensions, and at our schools, our OSS rate is only 5%. And I think that just goes to show what a good culture and community we have built, and the hard work that our teachers and building principals are doing to support our students and keep them in school. The fact that our rate is so much lower. So
Is that our rate on special ed or just
special
for the whole?
ed, special ed. Yep, that's our special ed rate. Thank you. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so there's a lot of colors and numbers, and they're very small, but I would like to show you the year-over-year special education classification percentage. So we have grown as in each building. Last year, our elementary school had 159 students. This year, we're up to 167. And our high school had 210 students last year, and this year it's 218. So our enrollment is rising. If you look, this is the percentage of students last year that were special ed, it's 18%. This year it's 19.7. And last year it was 24, and this year it's 24 at the high school level. So pretty statistically insignificant. It's maybe like 1 or 2 extra students, and that is pretty tough to measure. When students need something, you gotta give it to them, right? And so how do we compare to others? Let's take a glance. New York State averages 20.7% special education classification rate. In our area, Mariah is reporting 29.4. Willsboro is 24. Keene is 16. The Essex County average is 22%, and we are technically 21.7%, but I rounded up to 22%. So we've remained relatively consistent in our special education classification year over year. Okay, so now we've looked at some cold hard facts. These are some things that we've been actually doing, some things that feel like real human action. Since September, we've done a lot of things, and this is one of 2 slides. We've restored a critical revenue stream by reinstating district-wide Medicaid billing. This has resulted in approximately $15,000 of submitted reimbursements already, and we do have consent to bill for reimbursement from 100% of students who are eligible for us to bill for. We have developed and launched a comprehensive student support services guide for staff, which has clarified MTSS, RTI, Section 504, and special education processes across both buildings. This is improving consistency, a big piece of communication. And this will be also extremely helpful when we're onboarding new staff. We can give them this document, and this will be like a nice clear picture that they can have to sort of get up and running quickly. We've established.
Just a quick question, does that come with training as well? You know, because guides, like where I work, you know, guides, documents and all that kind of stuff is great. And then we expect people to read them and use them, but they sometimes don't come with that coaching and support and training.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that'd be a great piece to add for new staff as part of the onboarding process, is a little sort of session on here's what we do and what everything is, and here's also a guide that sort of supports that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Additionally, we've established consistent monthly department meetings, and as a result of which we have definitely strengthened our interdepartmental communication, shared problem solving. We've done professional learning across our buildings, and this has supported a real culture of our special ed department. We've really started to grow it. You know, trust takes time, but I know from feedback that we really have built a good foundation upon which we can build a trusting and communicative department. So I'm really happy about what's happened so far. We have, this is huge, and I'm really excited about this. This is like my nerd moment. We have completed the full annual 504 and IEP review calendar earlier than it's ever been done before. Woo! Yes, very exciting. So our official meetings will run from February through May, and we will be we've scheduled with an intentional focus on family engagement, efficiency, and minimizing instructional disruption. It's really difficult to balance an annual review schedule with the many, many needs of everybody and not pulling people out of classes and getting coverage. And, you know, it's really tough to do. And I would like to thank publicly Lori McAllister, who has been our virtual CSE secretary. Her wealth of knowledge and expertise is incredible, and she was a huge factor behind why this was able to get done. And yeah, she's a great asset to our department right now. So go, Lori. We've held a Donuts with the Director event. I saw some of you guys there. And this was to meet and build relationships with families, and it was good fun. Page 2.
You should blow that picture up for next time.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. We've implemented a department-wide parent input survey. So each of our individual special ed teachers have sent out surveys to the parents of their student, or will very shortly. And this is like as an attempt to increase parental engagement in the IEP process. So like if you have a student who has special education services, you get a survey before even any of the conversation begins to just give that immediate feedback. That way, when you start the conversation with your child's case manager, you have a good jumping off point. And this is something that has not been done before, and now we have applied it consistently and universally across the department. We've strengthened family engagement and aligned to the NICEAD SPP, the State Performance Plan Indicator 8. That is a big thing that we are tasked with doing this year. We'll be giving surveys to our special education families after annual review meetings, and they'll be giving us feedback on how they feel their role is, how well the communication is between our department and them in the process. So yeah, that's a big thing that we're doing this year. We have built strong staff relationships across buildings. I've met individually with all teachers and teaching assistants. I did this this was the first thing I did. But I feel like just knowing everybody and their name and what they do and where they're from and, you know, what kind of life they have has really helped build that trust, help build that good foundation. And take a look at that picture right there. This is on, you can barely see it, but under my shirt, it's got a big 7 on it because this was also on 6-7 day at Lakeview. So yeah, we had a very successful half-day department planning meeting. We essentially got together, talked with our special education teachers and service providers, and we were able to begin a proactive plan for our programming for next year, and have some good sort of standard practices put into place for our annual review cycle this year. So we have also, and almost finally, advanced compliance and accountability efforts through the analysis of our auditor findings to inform long-term system improvements and ensure regulatory alignment. And we've developed a 2-year special education department plan, which I would like to share with you today. So to guide long-term improvement with targeted focus on communication compliance and service optimization, staff capacity building, and sustainable systems. We have built a 2-year plan with 5 trackable goals. It has been designed for reflection and adaptation. So we'll have regular check-ins, and if something needs to be tweaked, we can tweak it because we're humans, you know, and sometimes things change. It's also been targeted based on demonstrated needs, available resources, and of course, best practices. And those 5 goals, the general themes are improved communication, streamline compliance, optimize student services, build staff expertise, and strengthen operations. All of this is, of course, to support our students and make sure that we are running the best form we can. So if you guys don't mind, I'll go through each of those 5 goals briefly. There are so many words on these slides, and they're going to be, I'm realizing now, very, very tiny. But let's do the best we can, right? I know. Yeah, Sarah won't be able to see anything, so. Okay, so goal 1 is improve the quality of communication across departments and with families to support trust, collaboration, and shared responsibility for student success. So we've really done a lot of this work already, but the key measures of success here, when we look back and we check in, we're saying, have we improved family participation? Have we increased clarity within our staff? And have we reduced communication-related concerns? Those are our key measures of success for that. And there's a year 1 focus and a year 2 focus. Goal 2 is create efficient, user-friendly systems while ensuring full compliance with state and federal special education regulations. So really what we're looking for here is to make sure that we're staying compliant with everything, make sure our systems are working good, and that we're having on-time completions of meetings, and that all of our legal paperwork is being done to the T, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, so to speak. It's a important and super exciting work that we do here in special ed. Goal 3 is ensure special education services and programming are responsive, effective, and aligned with students' academic, social, and functional needs. So this is thinking about our programming and how we are best able to give the services that students are requiring to them. How are we being as efficient as we can? Are we being as effective as we can? And so, yeah. Goal number 4 is, I would just like to say, it says build staff expertise. We've got a great, wonderful staff, but we do, as always, live in a culture of accountability, and so we strive to be better. So we are building our staff expertise in writing high quality, compliant, and instructionally meaningful IEPs, and in implementing effective in-class practices. And we can support that through professional development, et cetera. And finally, and this is the really fun one here, create a secure, well-organized, and sustainable department structure that supports long-term effectiveness and continuity. And this includes my favorite suggestion from Bob's report, which is organize the files. So that is included here in this goal. So yeah, moving forward, this may not be the exact work that we're doing over the next 2 years, but these are the things that we will find to root ourselves in over the next 2 years. And so that's kind of where we're headed. That's where we are and where we're headed. And yeah, I'm really happy to share that with you. Now the work begins. And I really just want to point out my really great meme that I picked out there. We have a plan. That plan is to follow the plan that we planned.
Thank you so much, Mr. Strack. Thank you for implementing these positive initiatives. It sounds like it's just what we needed, and we're very pleased. Anyone else like to comment?
As you know, we've met since December's meeting, specifically about the special ed audit, and you answered all of my questions wonderfully. And I was excited to leave the meeting, which doesn't happen a lot with me in special ed in the district. So thank you. Yeah, and I'm excited to see what happens going forward.
Yeah, me too. And as always, if you guys have questions, I'm around, so I'm happy to help.
Okay, thank you very much. Sounds great. Okay, number 19, superintendent's update. A, superintendent's report. Dr. Meyer?
Yes, thank you. So a few things for you this evening. First, grants update. So for ESSA, IDEA, and UPK, there's no significant updates, but the initial planning for next year will be starting soon. For the extended school day grant, the mid-year report is due January 30th, and that's being worked on. And grantees have inquired about a new round of the extended school day. That's the OASIS grant that we refer to it internally as. We've asked about a new round, and the NICEAD program office is unable to confirm or share specifics at this time. We are obviously very hopeful that we can get this to move forward. It has been amazing for so many of our students. So we really are hopeful that we can continue to receive this funding. So January, that's when we look at the state of the district. So I have some numbers here. Happy to follow up on any questions. It's probably better if you stop me as we're going instead of at the end, but whatever works best for you. So we're going to look at these different things here. So looking at the demographics first, we have 414 students. That was as of, I think, on Monday of this week. So if something's changed in the meantime, I can let you know that next time. But that was, I believe, as of Monday. We are 50% male, 49% female, 1% non-binary, and 96% Caucasian, 4% other. I misunderstood Sean at 21.7 and wrote 22.7. I will add, if Sean wasn't here, I would blame him, but I'm sure I misunderstood. So that should say 21.7. I bet I can fix that right now. And then I don't even look, oh man, amazing. As I said, 21.7% special education, 5% 504s, and we have 40% who are free and reduced price lunch eligible. Staffing, we have 5 administrators, 75 instructional staff, 24 non-instructional staff, 8 who are staffed either through BOCES or NARIC. That's the category, is I believe they're all BOCES. We don't know NARIC staffing any longer, so it's all BOCES staffing, and currently 4 staffing vacancies. 5 buildings in the district. On this campus, we have the main building, which you're in, the storage building out back, and then the former bus garage, which is now a storage facility. Over at the Mountain View campus, we have the main building and the bus garage. If you remember, about a year ago in December, so December 2024, the building condition survey was done as per New York State regulations. The heating system on the Lakeview campus, the boilers on Mountain View campus, and the Mountain View campus bus garage were primary concerns there. And some of those we're looking to resolve through the energy performance contract with Day Automation. If you look, looking at our academics, our ELA 3 through 8 testing proficiency rate. So the first column is the proficiency rate. In the blue, that's where we stand compared to our BOCES region. So for example, 3rd grade at 57% proficiency, we are 4th out of 16 districts in the region. We also have 97% participation. One thing that is very noteworthy for our district is our participation rate. Usually all these, I think, I'm going to say that all these numbers are in the 90s, if not the high 80s. Many districts in our region are still operating in the 50% range for participation. So our participation rate is very high.
What does participation rate mean? Attendance?
No, the number of students who actually sat for the test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you for clarifying. So So you can take a look here at those rates. And generally speaking, and this is true about so many things with our district, if you look across our BOCES region, we, out of the 16 regions, or 16 districts, we usually fall like 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there for just about any category that you put us in, whether that's financial or academic or whatever. So I look at that and I say, so if we are, so for example, you look at 6th grade, that we're 8th out of 16. I look at that and say, okay, that's, you know, right in the middle. Anything higher than that, I look at that as kind of a win. Anything lower than that, I look at that as saying, okay, we have some work to do. Moving to the math rates. So again, 3rd grade, 73%, second in the region, and then you work your way down the list. So again, 6th through 8th grade, and then overall 8th in the region, right in the middle. But you look at the participation rate, again, very high for our students. So we're certainly happy with that.
Are the participation rates different because parents opted them out or they were absent? Just for opt-out?
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, it could be, but however, if a student's absent, they do have an option to take the test.
Okay.
So you would need to be like, I don't know what the total number of days you have to be absent, but yeah.
Okay.
So typically they're the
It's the
opt-outs.
opt-out,
Yeah.
okay.
Science, I checked the math on this several times, by the way, and how we could be 5th, 9th, but then overall we're 10th. Anyone wants to check the math on that? That is accurate there. But again, 100% participation, so great. So we like that. And then our region scores. So some highlights here: Algebra 2, 100% proficiency. That's great. Huge improvement year over year on that. And overall, 67% proficiency. And looking at our graduation rates, so you see there it didn't. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah, not a great difference there, but I tried to change the color of the font here. So 2019-20 was the first year of the merger. So anything before that was an average of Elizabethtown, Lewis, and Westport, but still puts everything in perspective. Graduation rate for small rural districts. Usually, you get, if one student could be, 4, 5, 6%. So one student makes a big difference there. And what the graduation rate takes effect as soon as that 9th grade cohort starts. So if, dropouts affect graduation rate, if a student is retained in 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, that can affect graduation rate. So there are some factors that affect that, but you look over the last few years, certainly since we merged, we've been in that 90, in the 90% range, a little bit higher most years other than that 2021 year. So graduation rate is still pretty solid. You look at the advanced readiness diploma rate, again, we've been generally speaking kind of in that 40% range for the most part. Obviously a little bit higher some years, a little bit lower other years, but that's what our rates look like for graduation. Looking at our significant budget factors, so where are we putting our resources? So we have a very robust master schedule. Our student opportunities out of our budget, but also with some of those grants are in terms of athletics, clubs, field trips, we definitely do a lot, which is great for the students. We're offering more and more early interventions. Again, which is very positive for our students. We're putting more and more money into facilities, safety and capital planning, our instructional technology and digital learning, social wellness, mental health. Going back pre-merger, if you look at our wellness and mental health staff compared to what we have now, it is significantly more robust now, and I think they're doing some great work. Our school and community partnerships, staffing, recruitment and retention, academic intervention and achievement, transportation, regulatory and mandated costs, and long-range financial stability. Right, we talk about our reserves quite a bit, and that's where that comes into play. Where are we strong? Looking at our student achievement and engagement, our participation rates, again, are very high. We have some very positive reading results. Our graduation rate is solid. Our advanced course offerings in terms of college level credits, AP credits, we do offer a lot certainly for a school of our size. And our extracurricular and athletics participation is pretty great. For school climate and relationship, we have strong student-staff relationships. The small school environment leads to individualized attention, supportive community partnerships and engagement, and our programs and opportunities, again, our field trips, the clubs, the enrichment activities, our early college and career awareness efforts. So that's not just like our college level classes, but it's getting students on college campuses, and our classes we offer for our seniors in terms of college prep and those kinds of things. And then our inclusive services for diverse learners. So those are things that we think we do pretty well. In terms of where we're growing or where we can see some potential improvements, right? Our 3 through 8 numbers, even some of the numbers that were higher in the region, there's always room for improvement. We always want those numbers to be higher, and we want to see growth year after year among our students individually, but collectively as well. Looking for curriculum alignment across grades and across both campuses, and consistency and effectiveness of our intervention strategies. The systems and capacity, so the portrait of a graduate, I know Paige talked about that earlier, but we have our joint study that's discussing that. We have our shared decision-making committee that's discussing that. We have different faculty groups that are looking at this, but this is really, I think if done well, it's going to be really impactful for students and their future. Technology access, reliability, and instructional alignment, data use to inform instruction and interventions like with our iReady testing and things like that, and our professional learning that's tied to our district priorities. So all those things are things that we're doing that we think that we can continue to put some time and energy into. So key takeaways, so we definitely have some focus areas of improvement in instruction, trying to develop plans for all of those. We have strong opportunities and meaningful experiences for students, and robust participation in these extracurricular programs that we've discussed. Continued commitment to wellness, safety, and student support. And again, portrait of a graduate, I do think that we're ahead of the curve on this, and I'm really excited about the work that's being done there. And I think that's it for the state of the district report, not to be confused with the end of the superintendent's report, because we got more. So any questions on the state of the district report? All right. So January is also where we talk about our district goal status update. So I'll go through these quickly, but we have, again, 4 district goals. We've had 4 district goals a year for a number of years now. Our first district goal about upholding and improving our previous initiatives. Sean has actually taken the lead on this. And if you look, our completion status is 1 of 3. It's either done, on track to being done, or the red is that it will not be done. You know, something changed, and we won't meet that target. So our first, we're on track to having all these completed by the end of the year. Second goal, improving student performance in ELA and math through effective data-informed instruction. Again, so our professional learning, we have hit that. That doesn't mean we're done with professional learning this year, but we have hit the mark of 2 opportunities so far this year for all of the folks involved with that. Everything else is on track to be completed. Our third goal, the facilities project, I mean, we've been updating you on this. So I think we're on track. Some of these might change to red, or we might need to delay some of the timelines for this if we don't hear something back next month. And then finally, the fourth goal, the hiring and onboarding. So we hit some of these targets pretty early, and we're on track for our onboarding survey. And we'll see where, so the 90% satisfaction rate, obviously we'll see if we hit that, but we will have the surveys done by April. And that's the quick goal update for you. So that's another time to pause and take a breath. And what, I guess I have two more topics for you tonight, and I'm going to preface these with the first one is the pre-budget meeting, and the second is an electric bus discussion. Both of these, the pre-budget meeting, we do have the board retreat that's talking about the budget, followed by our first budget meeting, and then the next, the electric bus discussion. We have time in February to have a more robust discussion. I say that because I also am looking at the clock and know that that it's getting late here. So I'm going to kind of cruise through both of these. And if there's something that is particularly interesting to you, stop me and we can go from there. But the purpose of this pre-budget meeting was just to let everyone understand the process here, a little bit timeline, a little bit of vocabulary. So just kind of build an understanding and foundation before we get started. I do have a little vocabulary sheet, and I'm going to, do you mind passing those? Just take one and pass one out. So this is just some vocabulary terms that you're going to hear us discuss. I'm definitely not going to go through these now, but something that you might, especially if the budgeting process is new to you, you might want to bring this to future meetings. And what we're looking at here, so the school district budget is these different categories: state aid, local property tax levy, federal aid, fund balance, and use of reserves. There's an arrow next to the local property tax levy because that's really what we're talking about, right? We are really talking about the local property tax levy, and that's what the board makes the decisions on. We don't have much of a say in state aid or federal aid. The use of fund balance and use of reserves is usually secondary to the conversation about the tax levy. The most common cost drivers here, none of these are a surprise to you, but we are an organization that employs a lot of people. It's mostly salaries and benefits, and there's certainly some other things that fall in there, but salary and benefits are, of course, the big factors here. Some locally influenced decisions, and then some mandated, some state mandated or federally mandated items also drive those costs. Where we are, so we're January right now. Next thing we're waiting for is the governor's budget, which we should get in the next couple of weeks. Then we'll start some of our budget meetings internally. In March, we should see a one-house budget from the Assembly and the Senate. And then in April, hopefully by April 1st, if the governor is listening to this, April 1st, we'll get the New York State budget adopted then, and then we can finalize some of our numbers there. And then, of course, our budget vote in May. So the board's role in that process is to review and discuss the proposed plans, to ask clarifying and strategic questions, and ensure the alignment with our district goals and student needs, fiscal responsibility with program priorities, and then ultimately to adopt a proposed budget that's placed before the voters. Administration develops, manages, and recommends the budget and the spending plan. So this vocabulary here is similar to what you have, but again, these are terms that you may or may not be familiar with. That is the pre-budget discussion in 2 minutes. Okay. Here's what I want to say about electric buses. So we have districts. So we, as a board, about 2 years ago, the board basically decided to just pause our discussions on electric buses. We were nowhere. We didn't know where we were with the capital project. All sorts of unanswered questions. And I think that was a good decision at the time. I still think that was a good decision. But we do need to start this conversation up again. Districts are expected to demonstrate what the state is calling good faith planning and progress about electric buses. There is school buses purchased or leased after June 30th, 2027 must be zero emission buses. So that is next school year, right? So we have one more year to purchase buses if we need to, or stock up on gas powered buses. But
This is public.
yeah,
I'm kidding.
I
I was gonna
absolutely,
make the same comment.
yeah, but all buses in operation after 2035 must be zero emission. So there is quite the window there. There is a waiver process that's available that, based on everything I know right now, I think that is where I'm going to try to get the board in February, is to apply for an extension waiver. But again, I do want to have a full discussion about this. We have a lot of problems where we are right now. Just looking, if you look up at the screen, the waivers are available. The cost for buses is expensive. The cost for buses is about $400,000 compared to about $180,000 to $200,000. Or I'm sorry, $125,000 to $150,000 for a diesel bus. So, twice the cost, sometimes more than that. But that's just part of it, right? There's also the infrastructure, the power that we need to get to the bus garage to be able to charge these buses. We know, based on what we've seen from other districts, cold weather, mountainous terrain, and long rural routes create range issues for electric buses. Fun fact, we have all three of those,
Yeah,
right?
there's not great.
Yeah. So,
There's not enough kids.
so one of the problems that we have is, if we have like a bus run in the morning, maybe that goes, bus run in the morning, maybe goes to Mineville, comes back and does something else. We don't have the ability to do that with the electric buses. We do a bus run, they have to come back and charge. So we would, unless there was some unbelievable planning, and it all just worked out based on our schedule, we would need probably more buses than we have to make that work. So for those reasons, and again, I feel like I'm talking more about this now than I want to, again, looking at the clock, but I think that we're ultimately going to want to look at the waiver process, because I just don't think we're there. In terms of being able to afford this, even know what we need. I don't know that anyone right now could tell us exactly how many buses we need, exactly how many buses we could charge, and exactly the infrastructure that we need to support all that. So for all, and I would also probably, we should talk about like a study, like a transportation study on that, so we can answer all those questions. But again,
Because beyond what we could do in our facilities, can the greater utilities support us? Would we have to do something outside of those facilities? Crazy conversation.
yeah, so many districts that have gone ahead and gotten an electric bus, they have seemed to enjoy them. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But when they've looked to purchase another one, whether that's, going from 2 to 3 or 5 to 7 or whatever, they're being told by the power company, you need to hold off. We can't supply you with that power.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those questions, we need answered.
In the process of getting more information, could we talk to the transportation departments in other districts
Yeah,
locally
absolutely.
that have one bus, however
Yeah.
many, and see because we, like you said, we have no routes that
Yep.
that are not mountainous.
Yeah.
Josh, do you know, does this cover the school bus vans also? Will they all have to be?
Yeah, all vehicles.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All
I
vehicles?
think, it's not any student, like
Any
plow trucks are
transportation.
okay, right? Like I think we said plow
Yeah,
trucks.
you can use
Yeah.
anything that's used for
Like
O&M
utility
is
vehicles
fine.
are okay, but yeah, anything that, yeah,
So like right now, we have 2, I believe, that are school bus vans.
yeah,
And we just.
So we would have those electric and
yeah. And this always comes up whenever we have legislators in front of superintendents, this always comes up. And, no one seems to be opposed to this in concept. You know, great electric buses, let's go. But it's more, we can't afford it. There's not enough power. You know, how is this all going to work? And because we don't have answers to that yet, I think that there are going to be waivers for a while.
And
but-
currently, this waiver, with the one you, in the document you shared with us, it gets us 2 years, but we have to kind of have already started or have the plan. And then that doesn't push the 35 deadline, right?
Right. So I believe the only waiver is for the 2027 date.
Right.
But I think, and I mean, I'm 100% speculating this, but I think unless there is some incredible change with the power companies or state funding for buses, I don't see how this is going to happen statewide.
No, and
10
it's,
10 years is not a lot of time to get a whole fleet turned over.
Yeah, and you look at the bus companies, the bus companies, even to produce that number of buses, I know that they're struggling to do that.
are we looking into other power sources?
Like alternative energy.
Mhm.
So, I mean, honestly, this is the first we've really talked about it since a couple of years ago. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I think let's continue this conversation in February. We'll come up with a plan. But again, I think I'm going to talk about the waiver and talk about transportation study in February and what that could look like.
Okay,
And
thank
The
you.
only thing I know we're gonna talk about in February, since so many other districts have to go through this process, I wonder, it's fresh on my mind because CVES was here, but I wonder if they would be able to collectively, like, there's a lot of base load work that they could do on how much energy use is it for one bus and how much, and if they kept in that for all component districts.
So I think, right, so there's a way to get the study. We could do the study through BOCES and get aid on the study, but we were trying more of like a regional approach, right? Where, like, does it make sense for us to share a bus garage with another district that can power these? I don't know. I mean, again, I have no idea where that facility is, what any of that looks like. But does it make sense to do that? Does it make sense for other districts in our region? Another question that we ask, and this is probably getting into the weeds too much, but like, if we had a basketball game in Shazy, can we charge our bus in Shazy? And if so, who's paying for that? Is it just, it's all gonna work out and,
Because then when you come,
Yeah.
it's the same thing and.
Yeah, but, we don't necessarily have any of those answers right now. So I think we do need a study, and to get the BOCES involved is definitely not a bad idea. But I know Hayden, who is working with Spoon Lake and Willsboro, right, they're having the same conversations.
Spoon Lake, I just finished the waiver. We were flat out told by our utility company, we don't even have any. They absolutely not. We can't support it. Just for example, our electric bill this December. So now that we're in budget season, I start to do like 5-year look backs. Our electric bill compared to last year for the month of December was 4 times higher, just because of the utility rate increases.
Is E-Town on National Grid as well as?
No, National Grid here.
We use a cooperative.
That would be ideal for us because this is the end of the line for National Grid from Whitehall down to here.
Yeah.
We use a cooperative for our electric. It's called SMAC, which is School Municipal Electric Cooperative out of Erie One BOCES.
Right.
So it's NICEAG and it's National Grid between the two campuses, but it's billed all as one. And
Yeah.
have some.
Well, from a
sort of discount.
transmission side, that's what restricts them. And if we were at the end of the line here in Westport, we would likely be told the same thing as Spoon Lake.
Yeah.
Because we have national, or I think, no, we have a different company down there, but yeah, I literally picked up the phone to talk to them about it, and I think the conversation was 20 seconds long. And it was still, don't try. Not now. So it's gonna be tough.
Okay.
Okay, and yes, that's what I got.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Meyer. Certainly a lot of information to digest and consider in the future. All right, number 20, public comment. Our agenda offers 2 public comment sections. Opinions, ideas, and concerns that are offered by the public will be considered and taken under advisement. We have set aside a 15-minute period, giving the audience time to share their thoughts with us. Please raise your hand to be acknowledged by the board president. When called upon, please identify yourself and give your address, limiting your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody who would like to speak? Yes, Mr. Kingsack?
I'm Josh Kingsack. I live in Westport. Earlier in the meeting, it was brought up that there are people that want the slides that Josh provided in the last meeting to be brought down. And for the sake of transparency, I do believe that those were valid information for taxpayers to know the money that's being spent for lawyer fees. So I would like to ask that you guys do not remove that, the slides that he put up, so that when we have discussions in the town about what's going on with our school board and our school and the cost, we have all that valid information for us. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. There are certain things that we need to take into consideration about that. Thank you for your comment. All right, number 21, the next meeting, A will be,
Are there
any other, I'm sorry.
I don't think
Anybody
there are,
else?
just in case.
Anyone else who'd like to comment? Okay, number 21, next meeting, a regular meeting Thursday, February 12th, 2026, 6 p.m. at the Mountain View campus. And number 22, executive session. Specifically, the board anticipates entering into executive session for the following reason. A, to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or persons. B, number 8, to discuss the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition, sale, or exchange of securities, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value of these things. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session? Paul, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Deb. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes to enter into executive session.